Greetings and welcome to the beautiful seaside town of Eastbourne. Today I'm going to be driving to Brighton. Come and join me as we talk some politics. Now, as always with my Drive With Me videos, I'm going to be discussing various topics. I'm going to timestamp them all below, so if there's a specific topic you want to skip to, you can go ahead and do that, or you can listen to me for the whole time. Why not? Okay, so different topics. There's a few things I want to talk about today. I can't leave this insane Tory tax policy alone. I need to discuss this for a little, a few extra minutes. I need to carry on this topic because it's mental, absolutely mental. I want to close the book on Alex Belfield. I've been doing videos trying to expose this guy for the last year or so, show people for what he is. People are starting to realise now, but I kind of feel like I need to bookend that topic, so I'm going to have my final say on Alex Belfield. I want to talk about this Al Jazeera video with the Labour files. I watched it yesterday. I don't know whether some of you guys have watched it. It's basically about the ousting of Jeremy Corbyn from the Labour Party. I might even do a live stream this week on the topic, but it's fresh in my head. I watched it yesterday, so I'll discuss that, and anything else that crops up along the way. There's Eastbourne Pier. I was just thinking to myself, actually, have I ever featured Eastbourne Pier in one of my videos? I probably haven't, actually. You see Brighton Pier a million times, but this is Eastbourne Pier. They had a fire there not so long ago, but it didn't actually wreck the place. What is it with fires and piers? I don't know. Anyway, lovely Eastbourne. Eastbourne's a lovely town, but it suffers from what a lot of these South Coast small towns is, which is lack of jobs, increase in homelessness. They got a big drug problem here, same as Brighton really, but Brighton's got the wealth to deal with it a little bit more because it's a bit more of a wealthy city. But towns like Eastbourne, Hastings, they do suffer from a lot of poverty, but it's a lovely town. It really is. It's got a lovely seafront, lovely promenade, but yeah, it's predominantly Tory retirement home for a lot of people, although they don't to come to the bigger towns. They go for the smaller one. Anyway, I am babbling. Onward with Liz Truss, Kwarteng's bloody tax policy. It's absolutely mental. Absolutely mental. I've been racking my brains all weekend trying to figure out what their tactic is. I mean, it can only be crash and burn, because no one's gonna vote for this. Sorry about that, folks. Camera wasn't plugged in, cut out. It wasn't a good start to the video, but we're back. I was babbling a bit anyway, but yeah, let me get onto this bloody insane tax policy from the Tories. I've been racking my brains all weekend trying to figure out what their tactics are exactly, and I could only come to one conclusion, because no one wants this. No one wants this insane tax policy. If you earn under 150k a year, you don't want these tax cuts to the rich, and you would not vote for it. So who's going to vote for them in 2 years' time if they pursue these insane tax policies? I don't get the tactics, and the only conclusion that I can come up with is that they know that they're going to lose in 2 years' time. They know they're going to lose the next election, so they're going to fuck up the country as much as possible, leave the biggest mess for Labour to try and sort out, which they probably won't be able to sort out, and then in 5 years' time they'll come back. And obviously they've got the added bonus of keeping their Tory donors and all the rich in this country very, very happy with these tax cuts. Because that's the only theory I can come up with. And if that is the case, then it's the only thing I can think of. These bastards are even more evil than I thought. Evil bastards, crash and burn tactics to try and get back in power in 5 years' time. Because no one wants these tax policies. Unless you're some loony guy that has watched way too many libertarian YouTube videos, you can't be in favour of these tax policies. Okay, whether you're left or right, whether you're Conservative or Labour, the average working person in this country does not think that the way to solve the cost of living crisis is to give Cristiano Ronaldo an extra 25k a month. Because that's what Liz Truss has done. I fucking worked it out. Everyone above 150k is getting a tax reduction, right? From 45% to 40%. So that's an extra 25k you're giving to Cristiano Ronaldo. How does that help Julie down the road, who's juggling 2 jobs and trying to put give lunchboxes to her kids with inflation going through the roof? How does uncapping bankers' bonuses that caused the financial crisis in 2008, how does letting bankers gamble with all our pensions, all our mortgages, help Doris, pensioner down the road, trying to figure out how she's going to pay her energy bill of £200-300 a month? No one with a slight bit of common sense thinks that these tax laws are going to help people with the cost of living crisis. It's madness. No one wants this. The pound shooting down. Jesus Christ, the Russian ruble. Russian ruble is stronger than the pound right now. How does the fact that now all the imports, all the goods that we have to buy is now more expensive because the pound has dropped drastically. So now all our food is going to be even more expensive. How do these tax policies help normal people, anyone that earns under 150k a year? It's madness. But of course, you get these you get these idiots, like I say, these people that get like this kind of like fake intelligence, or they get into these traps where they watch these libertarian videos and they think, oh, actually giving money to the rich so they can create jobs and invest will help people in a cost of living crisis. I see the same thing. It's the same thing that happens with climate change and flat earth and stuff like that. People love proving people wrong. We know that. We know that on Twitter. We know that in arguments on Facebook. We know this about people. But what they love even more, if they can debunk an established belief, which is obvious. Right now it's obvious. To help the poorest people in society, we need to take money from the rich and help the people at the bottom. It's just obvious common sense, but people love it when they see this YouTube video where, oh, actually, what we need to do is give more money to Jeff Bezos because he'll create more jobs for people. It's bollocks. And people fall for it. Sometimes you just have to use your common sense, and sometimes you just have to draw it back to the bare bones and just think, in normal society, right, okay, you've got 20 quid. How are you going to help that homeless person on the street? You're going to give him that 20 quid, or are you going to go around to Jeff Bezos' house and post it for his letterbox? Because he'll spend that, and eventually at some point that homeless guy will trickle down. Just common sense, people. Just have common sense with these things, please. Just have common sense. Not homeless guy. I'm homeless. I just need some money for somewhere to stay tonight. See, I could give you this £20, but I think it will benefit you more if I give it to Jeff Bezos, because he'll create a job for you in about 2 years' time. Nutters, absolute nutters. And people love this shit. They love proving people wrong with insanity. Anyway, I'm going off in a bit of a tangent, but oh my god, these tax policies are insane. And at least we can maybe unite the country a little bit on this, which was what I was going to talk about on my cancelled live stream on Sunday. I'll throw that out there. Apologies for having to cancel the stream that I was going to do on Sunday with Anna from ThatAnna YouTube channel. Unfortunately, she got the flu. Can't be helped. The last thing she wants to be doing when she's got the flu is talking to me. We will get it sorted for another day. I think she's in the process of moving house at the moment as well, so it might take a little bit longer, but we will do it. But yeah, that was the whole conversation I was going to have, trying to heal this political divide that we have in this country. And maybe this will do it, because no one's going to be on board with, like I say, giving Cristiano Ronaldo an extra 25k a month to help the poor. No one's on board. No one's on board with this bollocks, this nonsense, this mental stuff. And what annoys me, what frustrates me the most, and this kind of brings me on to my next topic, which is Alex Belfield. I need to talk about this guy and close the book on him. What annoys me is when you go on YouTube and people are not getting angry about this stuff. They're not getting angry with the most insane government we've had for the past 80 years. They're not getting angry about that. What they're getting angry about is Holly and Philip from this morning skipping the queue to go see the Queen's coffin, or they're getting angry about the latest Little Mermaid being black, or Halifax using pronouns on their badges. This is what people are getting annoyed about, and this is what brings me on to Belfield, because he is the king of that. He is the master of that bollocks, getting people annoyed about stuff that does not matter. He's the king of it. Now, I've had loads of comments and people asking my opinions on him, the fact that he's just got 5 years in prison, and yeah, I've got to give my say on that. A lot of people saying, well, is it too harsh for what he'd done? It depends how you look at it, really. I mean, my opinion is, I've done videos, go revisit my videos that I've done of him, where I've shown in detail some of the emails that he's sent to people, the threatening emails that he's sent to vulnerable people, threatening them to sue them for everything they've got, that they've made a massive mistake and he's going to take thousands of pounds from them and they're going to be, you know, completely indebted and bankrupt. And, you know, the stuff that he sends to people is horrific. It's really horrific, and he needs to be punished. Whether 5 years, I mean, who knows how long he serves with good behaviour, but whether 5 years is too harsh, maybe for the things he got charged for, but as a whole, I mean, his other crimes are far worse for me, and if he gets 5 years for everything he's done, it's maybe not even enough. I mean, his biggest crimes for me, number one, conning his viewers out of 150k on the basis of suing the BBC, when really he took that 150k and he used it for legal, well, he didn't even use it, did he? He took that money for legal payments to help him get out of these stalking charges that were against him. He wasn't trying to sue the BBC. I've said this in many videos before. And then he didn't even use any representation in court. So he has conned 150k out of his viewers. And that to me is worthy of 5 years in jail. Without doubt. Especially when you look at some of the people that sent him money, some of the comments that you see of pensioners going, oh, you know, I'm on a pension, but I'll give you £5, Alex, it's worth it. Evil bastard, evil bastard. But his biggest crime for me is the legacy on YouTube that he's left behind, and the hundreds of copycat YouTube channels that now do what he does. He was the originator of this. He, you know, you got your talk radios and stuff like that, the more commercial ones, but Alex Belfield is the original of picking up a camera, getting people annoyed about a non-issue and getting thousands of views for it. Now, I understand the irony that I am an average Joe sitting here with a camera talking about issues that get people angry. I get that, but we're all going to think that we're the ones fighting the good fight, and I stand by every single video I've ever done against this rotten to the core government. But you know, this is Belfield's biggest crime to me, the legacy that he's left, and the hundreds of copycat YouTube channels that have recreated what he's done. And like I say, when you have this government getting away with absolute murder, the things that they get away with, and the insane tax policies that they've just put through, and then you go on YouTube and you see hundreds of views on Little Mermaid being black in the new film, people getting enraged. I'm like, this is Belfield. Belfield created this. He showed to the masses that anyone can pick up a camera and get people enraged on these topics. And that's what I hate him for the most. I really do. This is what I can't stand about the man, because I want to talk a little bit about YouTube, monetization, and what happens to YouTube channels when they get monetized, and how it changes people's content. And I ain't no angel, I fell for this myself. As soon as your YouTube channel, if you're an average Joe like me making videos, as soon as you get monetized and you start getting a little bit of money in, it changes what you do videos on, how you do videos, and you're chasing those views because it's so enticing for an average person like an average working person like me. When you start getting money rolling in from YouTube, you think, oh Jesus, could I, this could be a serious revenue earner for me. And it's so enticing. And in that world of Alex Belfield style YouTube channels, the ones I'm talking about, all they need to do is a 5-minute video and they got 50,000 views. And basically the way you can kind of gauge how much someone's getting from YouTube is it's different with different audiences and different YouTube channels, but at the core, mainly roughly, you get £1 per 1,000 views. So these Alex Belfield copycats are getting, 50,000 to 100,000 views per video they do. And they're so easy to do. It takes 5 minutes and you just scan Twitter for the latest bollocks. Like I say, Halifax announces that they're going to put pronouns on their badges, and people lap this stuff up, and it's like a steamroller effect, because the more videos you do, the more people get interested in these topics, because they're easy to understand, aren't they? It's easy. The ins and outs of government and corruption and politics are hard. It takes, we live in a society now with social media and TikTok where you need quick dopamine hits, and attention spans are so slow that doing a long drawn out video about the ins and outs of government corruption is not going to entice people like, look at Holly and Phil from this morning skipping the queue for the Queen, oh my god, outrage, oh. And it steamrolls. The more and more people view them, the more and more people get outraged, the more they crave, oh no, what's the latest thing, oh no, Little Mermaid. And you suddenly get grown men getting outraged over the Little Mermaid being black, because apparently it ruins the story of Little Mermaid. I didn't know you were so invested in it. And this is Belfield's biggest crime, and this is what I hate him for the most, because we're absolutely flooded with this garbage woke YouTube channels. There's hundreds of them, and people are obsessed with that over what's happening in real life, in government, in the fact that your energy bills are going up, the fact that we've got so much dire poverty and homelessness, but Halifax can't be putting pronouns on your badges. That's the end of society. But that's me done on Belfield. I honestly, book closed. I kind of feel like the chapter's closed, the book's closed now on Belfield. He's gone to prison. Who knows whether he'll be back on social media? We'll find out in a couple of years' time. But that's the guy's biggest crime, the legacy that he's left, and the hundreds of copycats that have come after him are just despicable. And it's just turned YouTube into a nasty place. And like I say, as soon as average people, like myself, I'm guilty of it myself, I've made videos on topics that necessarily I didn't really, I stand by everything that I say, but maybe it wasn't the topic I wanted to talk about at that time, because I knew that it would get me some views. I don't want to go down that rabbit hole. And my channel's quite modest. I stick to the basis that YouTube is right wing and Twitter is left wing, and I stand by that. The right wing YouTube channels, the smaller ones, get far more traction on YouTube, and the sort of stuff that I do will do far better on Twitter than it would on YouTube. But that's what it's about. This is why I want to change up the style and things that I do on YouTube, because I don't want to go down this rabbit hole of chasing views. I want to maybe once a week do a video in the van chatting on different topics, and then speak to people on live streams. That's what it's all about. But anyway, that's me done on Belfield. Let's move on, shall we? Let's move on. I want to talk about this new film from Al Jazeera. I don't know whether you've seen it. A lot of people, Corbyn fans and people on the left, are going crazy for it at the moment, the Labour files, which basically just goes into much more detail of the ousting of Jeremy Corbyn during his time at Labour, and it really does show some pretty awful things. The lies, you know, I'm not going to describe the whole film. If you want to go and watch it, I mean, I think there's 3 parts to it. I think I've only seen the first part. But it just goes into details of the lies that were thrown against him, the lies of anti-Semitism. There's one particular guy that's sort of stirring the pot in the Labour Party for all of this. And I guess my opinions from watching it is, you know, I wasn't shocked. I always knew that the anti-Semitism stuff that was thrown at Corbyn's Labour was not really founded in truth. I could never really find any really core, you know, people just throw these things out. Oh, Labour's anti-Semitism. Okay, give me the proof. There's accusations thrown, but no proof. But it's the main thing that I took from it really is it's just more evidence to the fact that we need PR and a big shake-up of our voting system. We need a proportional representation voting system. Everything I talk about seems to come back to this. It really does. Most of the wrongs in our country comes back to our voting system. The fact that these 2 parties are trying to accommodate, the Labour Party is trying to accommodate 2 parties, and it just can't do it. They can't do it. You've got the left of the party and the centre of the party. They need to be 2 different parties, because they're just warring at each other. And everyone that tried to ounce Jeremy Corbyn from the party, their tactics were disgusting and despicable. But they thought they were fighting the good fight because they didn't want their party taken over from his style of politics. And it just proves to me that 2-party system, which we have the illusion of more, but we don't. We have the 2-party system, and both parties can't accommodate. There's too many vastly different views in that Labour Party, and the same with the Conservative Party. But because they've got power, the right wing of the Conservative Party can take over, and you know that's what's happened since Brexit. All the pro-European MPs have been shoved out of the party, and now I don't know. But I'd love to hear your thoughts on this programme if you watched it. Like I say, there's more to come out. I think I'm going to go in a bit more depth with it in a live stream if I can, and discuss it in that way. But this is what it just proved to me, is that we've got to have fundamental change. This 2-party system just doesn't work. It's broken, and we need more smaller parties. The Labour Party needs to be split into 2. Tory Party certainly does. It doesn't work. It doesn't work, and this is where you get these drastic tactics from people in the Labour Party because they think they're fighting the good fight, and they're not. Anyway, I definitely want to hear your thoughts on that one, guys. Let me know. New Haven. I didn't announce. We just went past the little town of Seaford just earlier. We're coming into New Haven now. Nice little town, New Haven. You can go get a ferry to Dieppe if you like. I've never done it. I should do, really. Yeah, maybe I might look into that actually. Get a ferry to Dieppe from New Haven. It's only a 20-minute drive for me. Anyway, onward. What else do I want to talk about? I want to talk about talking of Labour. We got the conference in Liverpool. I'm not sure how much this Al Jazeera has shaken up that. I mean, they obviously tied the release with the Labour Party conference in Liverpool. I haven't watched too much of it, but one thing I do want to say is I don't know how many people are on board on this, but one thing I noticed over the last few days, I really miss Ed Miliband. He's great. I love Ed Miliband. I think he's awesome. The way he took down Jacob Rees-Mogg in Parliament was absolutely sensational on fracking. The guy is great. Come on, mate, off you pop. Completely destroyed Jacob Rees-Mogg, and this goes back to what I was saying. Like sometimes the most basic theory for things is always right. Fracking, another thing that Liz Truss is bringing back. Fracking. Obviously it's not a good thing. Sometimes you just have to look at something and say, well, yeah, obviously that's not a good idea to drill in your neighbourhoods just around the corner, anywhere in the country, to drill the size of 3 Empire State Buildings into the ground, shake it all up, release loads of gas, which doesn't all get caught. The gas goes in every different direction. That's why in America you see, where they've been fracking in America, people putting lighters up to their taps and the thing combusting. It's obviously not a good idea, is it, if you do something like that? But these idiots, these rich people will try and convince you, oh yeah, but really it's safe, and it's actually the most safest form of energy. Just look at it as it is. Just look at it plain and simple. It's not good. Drilling into the ground, shaking it up, letting gas come out. What's wrong with the wind turbines? They're producing loads of energy. Let's get more of those. It's mental. It's absolutely mental. But Ed Miliband was fantastic in Parliament against Mogg. He made him look like a complete idiot. And I really miss Ed Miliband. And I did see a speech at the conference. And he's got a really good slogan, hasn't he, for the green side of Labour. What was it? It's cheaper to save the planet than to destroy it. I think that's a great slogan. It is, and it's so true. It's so bloody true. But all these rich bastards would try and convince you that no, you want fracking. Oh, have you got shares in fracking? Have you? Yeah, I've actually. Oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense. But Ed Miliband's great. When did he run for 2015? I think that's a real turning point, isn't it? 2015. Imagine if he got in 2015. Oh my God, what a different country would we have right now. Brexit wouldn't have happened. We wouldn't have had the last 10 years of, god damn, this insane Boris Johnson. Oh God, crippling, destroying this country government. And I guess it would have been a quick nip in the bud, wouldn't it? From David Cameron in 2010, with all the 5 years of austerity up to 2015, if Miliband could have got in and just nipped that shit in the bud, oh my God, we'd be sitting in a different country right now, wouldn't we? Jesus. Oh, Ed Miliband. What are your views on Ed Miliband? I really like Ed Miliband. I think he's really good. But yeah, such a shame that he didn't get in 2015. What a different country we'd have. It really would be. And you know, I still stand by my theory that the voting system has to change, and the two-party system still doesn't work. And Labour will never be perfect. It will never be what I really, really want. But in the system that we have, they're always going to be slightly better. Always going to be slightly better than the Tories. So coming into Peacehaven now, I'm sort of running through most of the topics I wanted to talk about. There are some other things that have been in the news recently that have piqued my interest, but I haven't looked enough into them. Maybe you guys might give me some more information in the comments about it. Obviously, you've got the Russian conscription that's going through, and the protests in the street, these brave people that are protesting, the people that are fleeing Russia to avoid the draft. Do you call it the draft? These people protest, they're so brave, man. They're so brave. You're also seeing it in Iran as well, with these women that are burning their burqas and stuff like that. It's incredible, the bravery of these people. You know, this is what comes back to the big scheme of things that I keep talking about. You know, Holly and Philip skipping the queue. Pronouns on Halifax's badge. Are these really, really the important things in the world when you've got people living in Iran through totalitarian, can't get that word out, rule, and they're so brave, these women that are standing up for their rights. And this just proves more to me that bombing the shit out of these countries for the last 20 years does not solve anything. What solves things is the people rising up of their own accord and taking control of their own countries, and revolution on their own backs. This is what sorts the problems in these countries. Not going over and bombing the crap out of them doesn't solve anything. These people need to take charge of their country themselves and bring down tyranny themselves. I know it's difficult, I know it's hard, but our bombs don't help. As we're seeing with the amount of immigration, do I want to touch on immigrants coming over? I think I covered like a million topics in this video today. Let's let this guy turn off. Yeah, we'll go there. We'll go there. So that another thing that irritated me with everything that's going on with this country at the moment is the only protests that were going on in London was anti-immigration protests and anti what do you call it, dinghies coming over the channel, all this stuff. This is what people thought was most prominent to protest in London over the weekend. And this is the main thing that I don't understand about this whole argument of these refugees coming over from this country. We bomb the shit out of them for 20 years. We bomb Afghanistan, we bomb Iraq, we bomb Yemen, we bomb Syria. And then we get angry when these people want to come over. But we're happy for other European countries to take the burden. Like Germany, like Sweden. Now, Sweden have had a change in government right now, and they're getting a bit pissed off with the amount of immigrants. And I don't blame them, to be honest. They've probably taken too many. But the country that should be taking them, the ones that are causing all the problems and bombing the shit out of their countries in the first place, UK and America, ain't taking their fair share. The burden's being felt on Germany, on Sweden. I feel sorry for Sweden. Why are they taking the burden of these people when we're the ones that are causing all this shit? And you find that most of these people that are anti-immigration were anti-Iraq war. They probably are anti-bombing in the Middle East. Don't make no sense to me. It's just ridiculous. And there I'll leave it. Otherwise I'll be babbling for forever and ever and ever. It's too many topics for one video, I think. As we go through, finish up on Peacehaven, and I'll call it quits there, guys. Thank you so much. If you watched the whole video, I really appreciate it. I'm going to have more live streams coming up this week, and more videos. And a lot of you were a bit concerned that I was going to stop the videos in the van. I won't be stopping the videos in the van, but I probably will just keep it to these style videos. If I've got a long drive, I'll shut the camera on and I'll talk about politics of the day. But yeah, take care. Until next time, see you soon.